Yo, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob Walters. This is Locked Up Sports. Super Bowl 60 has its participants after a good, entertaining championship Sunday finish up today. I hope everybody is safe with the storm and kind of not going out, just kind of hung around all day and, ate and drank and watched some football. And listen, it was two games that were completely opposite of one another, right? You had the Denver game with New England and just the snow. It started out as a clear day. Denver looked good. Stidham got him down the field. He hit that deep pass. They scored about, 10 minutes into the game. And then all of a sudden, the snow blew in, and it was a blizzard by the third quarter. And little did they know at the time that was the only points that Denver would score all day, as it was just a complete, it was two separate games because, listen, New England did not play great to start. You had Drake May came out. He wasn't sharp. He only threw for 86 yards in the game, and Stidham threw for 133 yards in the game. Yeah, Drake May was 10 for 21, 86 yards. Stevenson had a big game, the back, and they needed that. He had 71 yards on 25 carries. Harvey and did not have a big game. And for Denver, he was only 13 carries, 37 yards. Listen, the offenses couldn't do much. When you were going against that wind, you couldn't do much. There were a couple mistakes made by Denver. Listen, Peyton should have kicked the field goal in the first half, but that's kind of Monday morning quarterbacking that thing, because you know what? We all probably would have went for it. 4th and 1. You got the ball inside the 10-yard line. You want to put it in the end zone there. You want to take the 2-score lead, 14-0. I think they would have really had a stranglehold on this game had Denver gotten that yard and then punched it into the end zone and taken I think it would have been 14-0. And New England was really struggling at that point. But this game turned on the first drive of the second half when New England came out, they got the ball, and they marched it, right down the field, a methodical run-based drive, which was basically most of where most of Stevenson's yards came from, was that drive. It took them 8 minutes. They ate up the big chunk, more than half of the third quarter on that one drive. They didn't get it in. They went for it on 4th down. They got it on 4th down. And then they ended up kicking the field goal after a good defensive stand by Denver, held them to 3. And you think, okay, 3, we'll take 3. It's 10-7. We have no problem. And then 3 and out. Go the Broncos. Punt it away. They get the ball back. 3 and out again. They ran like 6 plays. There was 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and Denver had run 6 plays in the second half. And you're like, okay, now it's going to be, what? And then the snow's just, at that point, the snow starts driving in. You can't even see. You don't even know really what yard line they're on. It was pretty bad. It was bad conditions. It was even worse in New England. So no matter where they played this game today, it would have been a disaster. But you know what? In games like this, little things matter even more. You had the kid from the practice squad comes in as Denver kind of marches it down. They get into field goal range. It's a 45-yard field goal. Now, it wasn't going to be easy anyway, because in those conditions, kicking is just a nightmare. It's hard to get the ball down on the ground to hold it. The guy's running, kicking. It's a solid ball. I know they use the kicking balls to keep him warm and whatnot. He's kicking it. He's got the wind blowing in his face. And you know what? It would have been good. The kid from the practice squad that they put on the roster the night before, that Vrabel put on the roster, got a fingertip on it. It sailed left, missed, and then that was pretty much their only chance. That was their only chance, Denver, in the second half. They did get the ball back, and of course, Stidham threw a pick on what I thought was an unnecessary pass. He doesn't need to be taking a shot down the field in that spot right there. Because that's what's going to happen. When you take a shot down the field like that, that's what's going to happen. In that kind of conditions, in that weather, you got just over 2 minutes left. This is your last shot. You don't want Stidham going back and throwing a ball up into the wind. Now, they had the wind at their back at that time in the fourth quarter, but he throws one up into the wind, and it just, listen, that's exactly what happens. That's why you don't throw that pass. And I don't think it was, he lasered in on that receiver, focused in on that receiver. He was going there the whole time. Just not a good play, not a good decision to throw that ball. He obviously underthrows it. The New England corner makes the pick, and that's it. It's over. And it's just, victory formation. There wasn't a ton of action in this game, but there was some drama. This was the kind of game that Denver needed it to be, and they still didn't pull it out. And it was a mistake. It was two mistakes by the quarterback. The last one where he threw it, and the fumble where they ruled that it was his arm was coming forward, but it was a backwards, or it was a backwards pass. So it was a fumble. That was a big one too. Combine that with the 8-minute, 90-yard drive coming out of halftime by New England, and it's 10-7. And you know what? It's a shame for Denver. It really is. I think Peyton made a mistake, and he admitted it after the game for going for it on the fourth down. But, I mean, at the time, I know Tony Romo said on the telecast that he wouldn't go for it. He would kick the field goal, and then, of course, they ran right into the line, didn't get it, and that was a big spot in this game. And, Denver had a good year, and it really is a shame that Bo Nix didn't get to play. Now, I'm not saying he would have been any better in those conditions, because that's a nightmare for quarterbacks. When you're playing with that, you got the driving snow. It's blowing in your face. You can't see anything. You barely know where the sidelines are, the yard markers. It's a disaster for everybody involved. The defense is the benefit, obviously. But I said that if Denver was going to win, it was going to have to be low-scoring, defensive battle, run-based. That's what it was. And it came down to, two mistakes and a blocked field goal. And that's basically New England survived. New England survived this game because Drake May was not good. I mean, and like I said, it's not a knock on somebody who doesn't play well in those type of conditions. But 10 for 21, 86 yards in a championship game is that's like a Jets October game. But they got it done. They got the one drive they needed out of the half, and they are now AFC champs right back. Vrabel, they were 4-13 last year. Vrabel comes in, polishes up the quarterback, has himself a good defense, plays discipline. They get the thing done. They come out of nowhere. They win the division, and now they're headed to the Super Bowl in San Francisco, Super Bowl 60, 2 weeks from tonight. So now the second game, exact opposite, polar opposite of the first one. A shootout, good weather, warm weather, clear skies. Just the third quarter there. The third quarter in the New England game was New England running the ball down the throat, maybe one or two passes of Denver and kicking a field goal. That was the turning point there. The third quarter in the Rams-Seahawks game was just up and down the field. Defense nowhere to be found. 4 straight touchdowns. And you know what? Sam Darnold earned a lot of respect in this game today. He outplayed Stafford, who's going to be the MVP, who had one of the great seasons of his career. He outplayed him today. He was the better quarterback. He was the best player on the field, was Sam Darnold. Yep, that's Sam Darnold. And he's going to the Super Bowl. And this one, listen, and the trust that the coaching staff on Seattle put on Sam Darnold on that last drive after the Rams had their chance, right? The Rams had their chance. Stafford threw it into the back of the end zone. It was good coverage. Nobody was open. Knocked down. There's 5 minutes left, and he never gets the ball back. And they even were throwing it. The trust that they had to have in Sam Darnold to throw the ball there tells you everything that you need to know about what they think they have with Sam Darnold. I mean, you're talking pressure spots, where you just need a couple first downs. And you know what? If you think that your quarterback might do the wrong thing, or if you even have a hint that you don't trust him to throw that ball in that spot on second downs and on third downs, you just run it. You eat up the clock. You make them use their timeouts, and you punt it away, and you play defense, which is your strong suit anyway. But the fact that they had him running play fakes and rolling out, the one where he rolled out to the right and he just threw a bullet to, I think, Cooper Kupp for the first down, and it just on the money. I mean, you don't make a better throw than that. And he did that all day. He had 300, I think, and 50. I'll tell you right now what he had. He was 25 of 36 for 346, 3 touchdowns. Stafford Stafford didn't have a bad game. He made a couple mistakes, but it's certainly not on his shoulders. Stafford, he was 22 of 35, 374, 3 touchdowns. They didn't combine for that amount of offense in the first game. But the defense of Seattle, and listen, I had the Rams. I was on the Rams. I thought the Rams were the best team. I still think they're a better team, but they didn't play as good as they needed to today in Seattle. And Seattle got off to the good start, but that thing was the third quarter. The third quarter, there were 4 possessions, bam, 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 touchdown, 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 and each one was better than the other one, than the previous one, because Seattle scored, and then literally right down the field, 5 plays, I believe it was, into the end zone, touchdown. Puka Nacua had his 100 yards, 9 receptions. Corum had 9 catches. Parkinson was good. It came down to that 4th down, that the play, the series at the end of, with about 5 minutes left, the Rams got down there. They couldn't stick it in the end zone. And on 4th down, Stafford had about 6 seconds sitting in that pocket, just looking, and you could see him scanning the field. Nobody was open. Finally, they started to get to him. He kind of flushed out to the right. He threw it into the back of the end zone, and it was knocked down. And they never saw the ball again. When Sam Darnold got the ball, they did some runs. They mixed up good run, pass mix. And like I said, if you don't trust your quarterback in that situation, there's no way you let him put it in the air. No way. You got a Super Bowl on the line, a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. What you're gonna do is, if you don't trust them 100%, you're gonna just run it into the line 3 or 4 times, make them use their timeouts, punt it away, and play defense. And Sam Darnold got the ball, and he said, "Go sit down, defense. We don't need you anymore, because I'm gonna take this team now home. I'm gonna get the 3 first downs we need, and we're not gonna put the ball in the MVP Sam Darnold's hands again. Go sit down. It's over." And he took control of that drive, and he got them the first downs. And then they ended up punting with 27 seconds left. And if they needed a field goal, it might be a little different, but you're not going down to the 7-yard line. They did the little things right there too in this game. Whether it be a game like we had with the Rams and Seattle, where it's a shootout up and down the field, both quarterbacks throwing for massive yards. It's the little things in that game, just like it was the little things in the Pats game, a game where you're in a blizzard and you can't see nothing. The little things will help. And that punt down to the 7-yard line with 28 seconds left or 27 seconds left, pinning them back, ended the game. Sam Darnold got in the first downs, left 30 seconds on the clock. The punter put him down to the 7-yard line. They had to go 93 yards with no timeouts in 27 seconds, and you can't do it. They couldn't even get themselves a shot in the end zone. 2 plays, bam, bam. Puka inbounds, tackled. They got up to the line pretty quick. Give them credit. And they were all right there on point. Spike, 10 seconds left. There's just not enough time to go that distance in that amount of time. It's not going to happen. Barring just a breakdown and the guy, goes 80 yards. Because if the one play that Puka caught in the middle of the field, bam, down, it wasted 17 seconds, and they were quick. And then, of course, the last play he throws, they make the catch, but he's tackled just before he gets to the sideline, and the time runs out. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. You got The Pats, who are back now, Vrabel, the new kid quarterback. How's he going to rebound off of this game? I'm not going to even look at this game for him because it wouldn't be fair, right? Every other week, every other game, he's been consistent. He's been fantastic. He's wildly accurate, crazy accurate, most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Today you could just throw this one in the garbage with him because what are you going to do? Joe Montana wouldn't have had a great day today. And the Pats are back. I didn't want to see the Pats. Let's be honest. I mean, how many times the Pats have lived in the Super Bowl for like 2 decades now. They went away for 4 or 5 years. They come back, go 4-14 last year, and then right back in the Super Bowl. I mean, I like Vrabel, and I think he's a real good coach, and Drake May seems to be the real deal. But I mean, now I made it clear I wanted Bills-Bears, I think, would have been a fantastic Super Bowl, but we lost that last week. I think what we got here is probably the most competitive Super Bowl that we could have got out of the 4 combination teams, the combinations of the 4 teams. Because I think the Rams probably would have beat the Patriots, and you don't know what you're going to get. It would have been really hard to get 2 good games out of Stidham. And listen, Stidham has nothing to be ashamed of today. He can hold his head high. He played well. Shouldn't have thrown the pass where it was picked. But besides that, he played well. He didn't lose the game. He's not the reason they lost. But they did. And he goes down, and the sickest man in there, it's got to be Bo Nix. Even though I'm telling you, it wouldn't have made much of a difference because, I mean, with that weather, it's not a quarterback game. It's a run game, and Denver couldn't run the ball. New England could for that one drive. It was an 8-minute drive. It ate up half the quarter. They only got 3 out of it. And I told you going into this game that I would have been, if I'm the Broncos, I'm okay with 3s rather than 7s. You want to put points on the board. You want to get down there in the red zone. You can't come up empty in the red zone. And the difference in this game was Sean Payton deciding to go for it on 4th down and 1 from inside the 10-yard line rather than take the 3 and get out of there and be happy with it. And they lose by a field goal. Should have been happy with the 3s. He wasn't. And I get why he wasn't, because in this league, you got to score touchdowns, right? Not with that coach, not in that weather. And I know it was better weather when it happened, but somebody somewhere saw that thing coming in, that storm coming in, and had to tell him, you got to get these points. He didn't. He went for it. He didn't get it. And then out of halftime, right down the field, Patriots kicked the field goal, and that's it. That's all the scoring. 10-7. And then the Rams are going to be kicking themselves because I think the Rams are the best team. And Seattle has just gotten hot. They got hot lately since they beat the Rams on that Thursday night, that wild, crazy comeback, down 31-14 in the 4th quarter. They come back and win on a 2-point conversion. Since that day, the Seahawks have been one of the best teams, if not the best team. They don't have a great defense. They have an excellent defense. Patriots have a good defense. Patriots didn't turn the ball over today either. That's another big thing. Those 2 turnovers were killer for Denver. Patriots didn't turn the ball over. Held onto the ball, did the little things, ran it, 1 big drive, 1 big block, and that was it. They go in the Super Bowl. We will have plenty of coverage on the Super Bowl over the next 2 weeks. Brett, myself, we're going to have some guests on. I'm working on a couple big-name guests. Bob Useless is going to come on in a couple weeks. And then we get through the Super Bowl, and it's just a straight dash to spring training in the NCAA tournament. But we still have 1 game left, Super Bowl 60 in San Francisco, 2 weeks from today. I'm sorry, 2 weeks from yesterday. And it should be fun. It should be a good game. Patriots and Drake May against Sam Darnold, and the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll make you sick of it by the time kickoff starts 2 weeks from yesterday. So that does it for me. I'm Bob Walters. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, rate, review, and subscribe. Every little bit helps. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Check us out. All social media, YouTube, and any way you get your podcast. So that does it for me tonight. Happy Championship Sunday. I hope you have fun shoveling. Everyone, I would imagine everyone's going to enjoy a day off tomorrow. Go play in the snow. I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. See ya.